Hello, everyone, and welcome to Authentic Journeys, the podcast where we dive into the depths of self discovery, vulnerability, and healing with a spirit of adventure and playfulness. Today, my guest is Michael. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot your last name.
Mead.
Mead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why maybe I.
Yeah. Like the drink mead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Old, very old.
Very odd. Yeah.
I want to introduce also this topic that is a recurring topic for this first chapter, which is the topic of passion. Yeah. And I heard this phrase that talked about this search for your unique own passion as something that you have to go forward and prevail and like make it your life objective, and at the same time uh, it might be also something that stops people from getting a regular job or something like that. And I feel you did the opposite. Like you were a school teacher for quite some time.
Yep.
And then you co-founded Naturalma, this retreat center in Portugal. You're from Ireland. I forgot to say that as well. People will already listen to that. So I would like to know your perspective on how was it for you, like this change in your career in your life.
Yeah. A very interesting question actually, and maybe even now. I think it might be one of the first times I ponder on this a little. To become a teacher was something that I feel was more inherited. As my mother is a teacher, and I inherited this. I think also this sense of what an important part of people's lives it is to be a teacher. And if I could say, was it my passion or not, I'm not so sure. If I asked myself this question at the time,
Yeah.
it was more of something that I fell into. And I did find a lot of passion in working with children. I would say, especially because primary school is my specificity.
Whoa,
that's a word.
I think you made it up.
So my specification was primary school, and I really enjoyed like these kind of beginning years when kids didn't really know, oh, what is life like,
Right.
Who's my teacher, how do I relate with them. And I really enjoyed this and was passionate about creating a lot of fun. And also this was sometimes a very difficult balance to find with, oh, we must do this amount of work, this is what should be covered in the year.
Yeah, the curriculum and stuff.
And this caused a lot of conflict for me in my life as a teacher. And I think it was also a huge aspect of building what became afterwards Naturalma. What really inspired me to build a community or to build a community space was how we interact with children, actually. Like, do we tell them what they should do? Do we tell them how they should learn? And also to see how this puts pressure on parents to make kids do their homework, and puts a lot of pressure in the household. So one kind of directly led to the other.
I didn't think about that. School also like may change parents' way to approach their children in the teaching, because they see how school does it and they repeat it, they copy it. And also because they were at school, right? So
yeah, exactly.
I think it's deeper than just seeing what the teachers say.
Yeah, it's been we spend maybe 12 years in this really direct, oh, this is how you should do it. This is the right way.
Yeah.
And not allowing this expression for children to come up with their own ways, to find maybe what they like, what they're passionate about. It kind of, they also somehow inherit, or maybe I want to be passionate at maths or language because this is what they received their good grades, which also is somehow celebrated at home. So a lot of these questions I was asking myself after I stopped teaching, and was really like, how do how do I also, how do I work with this belief moving forward? How do I work with this? Yeah, how do I maybe change things for my own life?
Mm-hmm.
And also feeling really passionate about creating that space for others too. It was what drove me a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, asking myself the passion, like I really feel passionate about creating those spaces, really meeting people in maybe a different way, allowing them to tell me who they are, and
Mm-hmm.
allowing that individuality to express itself, maybe rather than how it should be.
It's beautiful because I see you speaking with these grown men and women as the kids that they used to be, and they maybe would have liked to be treated by the
Mhm.
teacher. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I have this image of you just talking to someone interested in them and their individuality and their
Mm.
unique views or yeah, like
Mm.
traits, and see you speaking also with this child that is still there somewhere.
Mm.
And
Yeah, it really reminds me when you say that about having parent teacher meetings.
mm,
In the past, having parent teacher meetings and really meeting the parents, and they come very stressed about, oh, my child's behavior in this class, and oh, how their results are,
mm,
and a lot of stress.
yeah,
And I really actually also remember it being really important for me to somehow uh, see how can I take some of this away. You
mm,
know, can I by my approach to these children in my class tell them they're doing just fine,
uh-huh,
and maybe finding the balance of also, you know, okay, we can work on this, and we're looking to um, maybe also be honest
mm,
about how things are, but to somehow take away this pressure,
yeah,
to maybe look at it from a different perspective, and maybe also empathize with the parents with, you know, I teach them maybe for a few hours a day, but like, how is it at home?
yeah,
Maybe to ask some questions like that.
mm-hmm,
um, and I also know this from my own life. You
uh-huh,
know, I was at home with a teacher also. I went home with my teacher.
yeah,
You know, this was a very unique
wow,
situation.
mm,
Um,
mm,
in Ireland before, it was very, very normal that when you went into the class of your mother or your father, that nothing would change. You would
mm.
go into the class and your mother would teach you.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I feel or think that in some countries that you go, the parents can't teach their kids. Like maybe it's a bigger school. I don't know why, but it's like I feel there should be a rule
Yeah, and
of a,
I think now this exists. You know,
aha,
now I'm only talking about 30, 28 years ago,
yeah, mm-hmm,
but now I think this rule exists.
mm,
One where it's like an opportunity for the child to not be put in this position, maybe,
yeah,
and for I think also the parents to not be
mm,
put in this position. And I really felt this impact how I related with my mother, how I related with my teachers, how
mm,
I related with school also.
So it's interesting also like this having a mother as a teacher and having a teacher as a mother kind of mixes things up, and so there's also this wish to be a parent of your students, of
Yeah,
like, because I hear this interest,
yeah,
this questioning, and I want to know about your individuality
mm,
from you a teacher to a student, or from you a community creator
yeah,
to the visitors, let's say,
mm,
and
yeah.
I also can see it more like deeply as I want my mom to ask me how I am. I just don't want her to be just a teacher.
Mm. And I never thought about this this aspect that you kind of draw my attention to, is this parenthood that there is in teaching.
Yeah.
You know, this aspect of these, the sometimes 30 children
Well,
are
more.
with you for the day, but they
Hmm.
also look to you like this for this reassurance, for this safety, and for this interest. You know, for this
Mm.
interest in what they think, what they want,
Uh-huh.
and it's so similar, right? It's so similar to being a parent, I imagine.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this person is focused on you and how you relate with them, and also I think one of the things we learn here at El Juego, right, is that the impact that this has moving forward. And yeah, it's something I never thought of how I engage with these kids was very like a parent actually.
Right. Yeah, and as parenthood, it also can be dependent on how you approach them, right? It can be okay with a very strict way of thinking, and they have to follow it, or with a more open mind, and like just seeing what they love and just follow also their creativity and like different approaches also in education.
Yeah.
And I've never thought about this, but now I'm thinking that my mom is actually a teacher because she wasn't when I was a kid. But then when I turned, I don't know, like 25 or something, she started teaching at my sister's school. And she's a teacher of religion.
Oh, yeah.
And she taught the same grade every year when they learn about going to hell and confession and the importance of confession so you don't go to hell, the importance of repentance. And now I see that she was very insisting in that in the house. It's like she also came with her teachings to the house, and it was very intense. And now I can also relate to that. She was also like reminded every year about the importance of this, and they brought it to the house as well. And it became quite a pressure to be like a good boy and not sin or confess your sins or all this. I would say crap.
Nice word to describe it.
Yeah,
and it resonates an awful lot for me too. My mother taught very like different years in school. Like she taught the class that get their first communion, first Holy Communion, the class that received their first confirmation.
Wow.
And these 2 years are very much in Ireland. Not so much now, but when I was going to school, these years were really like wrapped up in. They go to the church twice a week. They're preparing quite consistently for this sacrament, right? And like you said about bringing it home, I think more for me, my mother's focus was a lot on my grades, my academic ability.
Yeah.
And I can also see in me, even remaining to this day, how important it is for me to get it, to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes this can be a really beautiful tool.
Yeah.
A tool where I can learn a lot. A tool where I can be very open to new experiences. But it also can be one that I put a lot of pressure on myself to be intelligent. So like you said, to be a good boy.
Right.
For me, this intelligence can be something that I really, if I don't have it or I don't get it, it can actually sometimes stop me entering into something new.
Yeah.
It can be a very terrifying weight to carry into something. If I don't do it at this 100% mark, I can't do it at all.
Yeah.
And this felt very. As I found this, it became less burdening. But I've really enjoyed sometimes doing stuff when I don't have to get it actually 100% right. To be like perfect.
Yeah.
To be not perfect is an option. And that was maybe not so much of a freedom for me before, to be not perfect in everything. Sometimes it would stop me like picking up an instrument because I can't be the best.
Yeah.
It might sometimes stop me from singing. Also, singing was a big one actually. I didn't sing at all because I couldn't be like the best singer in the world.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah,
so crazy. This, I know it too, and I actually am one of the therapies here in El Juego in a regression. I was speaking with my father inside of me with the eyes closed, with this image of my father, and I was telling him that I was too afraid to fail, so I didn't dare to do stuff. And my inner dad responded, "Well, that's stupid, because failing is how you learn to do stuff." And then I spoke to my dad in real life, telling him what he said inside of me. He's like, "Yeah, that's perfectly right. That's how you learn. That's completely agree, And that's beautiful, yeah.
And yeah, I think it's something also from that experience, right? And what comes to me when you say that is reminded that when we're at our youngest, our parents are really young adults also.
That's true.
Quite usually, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes between this age, maybe between 25 and 35.
Yeah, my dad was like 26 when I was born, something like that.
Yeah, and I can imagine also. I'm from a small family of three,
Mm.
and I'm the oldest also. So a lot of pressure for it to
Yeah.
be done in the right way, you know, and a lot of pressure for
Good boy.
yeah, and exactly, and it's from a religious background as well. This brings another responsibility on this very small baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of that academic pressure, you know, was somehow, again, looking at it, it is maybe the mark of success of the parent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do they measure if they've done a good job or not?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like this.
Yeah, maybe. Let me see if I have some questions for you. So yeah, like going back to this topic of passion, you were talking about this education, and also not only like just in a school system, but connecting with others, right? Like just finding out who is the person that is in front of you and what they love, and yeah, like how do you feel? Yeah, how does this passion connect you with your purpose or your mission in life, or even if you know what it is, you know?
Yeah, well, the purpose, when you said this word, is, I really feel like passion is something that I really try to cultivate in maybe a day-to-day experience. Something that really, maybe I see how I spend every day. Do I spend it taking some time for myself? Do I spend it around people who I enjoy? Do I spend it around people that I'm challenged by? And also this curiosity maybe for new experiences.
Yeah.
That maybe the variety that I can bring into my life, that I'm not doing the same thing every day. This is something that I feel really passionate about creating for me. And I think maybe also before I was very passionate about what I create for others. But I really feel like recently, and even very recently, a lot of my focus has gone towards how do I do that for me. And maybe as a result, other people might be affected in some way by that. They might be inspired by it. They might want to um, come along. They might want to ask questions. They might want to also have that curiosity. And there's something I'm really passionate about, is that just that variety.
And that wasn't always like that. I mean, because I know you a lot, right? I focalized you and we spoke a lot, and yeah, I want to go more like kind of deeper into this moment in your life when you changed. Yeah, when you changed like your view, or you open up to another way, and also, as you said, like okay, so to find something new every day, and maybe yeah, before like teaching in Dubai, it was more kind of something repetitive. I don't know how it
For
was.
sure. Yeah. Well, one of the aspects of the 9 to 5 kind of style of job is this repetition, right?
Yeah.
It's going to the same building, to the same class, to the same people, working in the same situations. I mean, it might change from year to year, but this repetition was something that I think I found life very dull.
Yeah.
And maybe also at the time, I didn't see the importance of this fire, the importance of this excitement about maybe on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like today, I woke and I was really excited about coming here to speak with you. And I didn't have these daily experiences that maybe make life worth living. You know, make these like the sweet moments, the sweet aspects. And I think consistently ignoring the need for that in my life led to a huge breakdown for me. It led to a place where I was experiencing pain that I didn't even know was possible, experiencing confusion about everything that I didn't really know was possible. And from that confusion came a lot of questions, a lot of very difficult questions about how I was living each day, about who I was spending each day with, about also questions about my past, about like how has it impacted me, asking questions about, is there something I can do about that? A friend of mine recently said to me, usually I feel like the past is something you should leave behind.
Right.
And in a certain way, yes, there's like a paradox that comes to me there about that. Is yes, we must leave it behind somehow, but also asking questions about the past has changed my life, has given context to this pain that I was feeling in what was that present moment. And yeah, it came with a lot of panic, a lot of confusion, and ultimately I actually wasn't able to go and do my job anymore, which was at the time was the worst thing for me, which is very interesting when I look back to see how devastating it was for me that I couldn't go to a job that I didn't like, that I couldn't live in the country that I didn't like anymore. And maybe just to give some context on that, I really enjoyed teaching, but the job that I was working in was very results driven, was very much curriculum focused, that this variety wasn't so easy to find. We were very much told, this is how you teach it, this is what you teach, very laid out without a possibility for individuality to it, right? Which kind of is this aspect of life that I'm passionate about. And from this, I started to ask a lot of questions. Well, maybe not. I felt a lot of questions came, a lot of confusion about what am I doing every day? How should I deal with this panic? This was the aspect that was really terrifying me. Am I going to be like this forever? Am I going to be so confused forever? And it led me to a few different situations, a few different people, a few different places. Here being one of the places it led me, to people who were asking the same questions as me, who are asking, okay, let's explore life a bit. Let's explore what makes it feel good. Let's explore a little bit about our past, a little bit how we spend every day. People who are passionate about life and the exploration of life.
Yeah, and also like now I get this I feel it's difference between asking questions and looking for answers. And I feel like what we did, because I also left the city, left the 9 hour 5 days a week job, and I had questions, but I wasn't actually looking for answers. It was more of an open question, like, okay, what's more than this? What is it that I can find? But it wasn't like, okay, I need an exact procedure, an exact way of life. It wasn't like so result focused, right?
Yeah.
But it was more about finding different answers, or just even not even about answering the question, okay, what can I do with my life? But it was more about what is life, And I feel this search, if it's open, like you also shared, it's easier to just for life to gift you with different answers that you can like take if you like them or not, you know. No, just something that was coming to me, because it's yeah, this hunger of, okay, who am I, and what is this life that I'm told it only works like this, and is there something else?
Yeah, and I think I actually entered into this exploration with these questions and with the same attitude I had at the beginning, this result focus.
Yeah.
You know, this like this plus this must equal this.
Mm-hmm.
Like mathematical
equation
or formula searching for that life is like this, and thank you for the answer, and now I can live.
Yeah.
And this was something that also, as I continued, I see, oh wow, like every question that I ask can have many different answers. And this openness started like slowly, a bit painfully, open the door for me to see, like I can have a different answer every day.
Yeah.
In 10 minutes time I might have a different answer to the same question. Like if I ask myself the question how I feel, this is constantly moving and constantly flowing and constantly changing. And I've really started to see it as this roller coaster that has lots of different ups and it has downs and it has different parts where you scream at full volume and there's parts where it takes a little break and slows down and then speeds up again. And really being able to like be on this roller coaster, you know, and maybe to let go and put your hands in the air and to enjoy it a little, and to see that the result can be this enjoyment.
Yeah.
This enjoyment of maybe what I thought before was really negative. It was really bad to feel sad, and I didn't want this in my life. And it's really bad to be afraid, but really actually embracing these things that I was terrified of before has been this refreshing experience. Like a really living experience, a really live 3D full how do you say, like just a full experience, virtual reality experience that, you know, it can't be comparable to anything. It can't be comparable to anything that I was able to find in work before. Anything that I was able to find even in certain passions. You know, to learn music, yes, it's a beautiful aspect, but of this experience, of this life experience that includes all of it. I don't know if that lands or makes sense, but it was just actually
sounds poetic.
Yeah. But it was taking this life experience as something also, something that I at each moment can sit and just enjoy that it's happening in this meat suit. Yeah.
Which at some point also felt so scary, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was terrifying. I think when I was realizing this, well, I'm alive and I'm breathing, and a lot of this was a really terrifying thing for me to notice at one point. It was like a really scary kind of out of body experience that was very hard for me to grasp. And it was like this, I needed to grasp it.
Yeah.
Like we spoke about a while ago, it's like this importance for me. I must understand. I must grasp it. And this was one of the ones that it's ungraspable. And finding this ungraspability allowed me to a lot of that. Oh yes, the answers can change. The questions can be different. We ask new questions on another day. New ideas come, but it's very ungraspable to understand it all. And trying to understand it is like, someone once said to me, it's like pushing a cow up to a baby and saying, "Eat that." Like this metaphor has really helped my relationship with trying to understand so much.
Yeah.
It's like I'm forcing something into something that can't comprehend it.
And this sounds very Irish about cows, and
it was actually this was Marius's metaphor for.
Yeah, because I have like the more biblical one is like trying to put the sea in a bucket, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh well, I don't know that one.
That's like, I feel it's about trying to understand the mystery of God.
Oh.
So it's trying to put in, we are the bucket, right? So trying to fill a bucket with the whole sea.
Yeah, and it was also this moment of seeing how much focused I was on the mind, and how the mind can understand and how it should understand, and putting a lot of pressure on my mind to figure something out. And then it was a lot of what I learned here at El Juego was about not really being so tough on that mind, but about coming into the body and also giving that its space, giving it space for that fear of being alive, and somehow allowing the fear becomes a lot less. It becomes a lot less daunting.
Yeah, yeah. It also I feel it. If you give energy also to the body, to the emotions, to the needs, the mind balances by itself. But you're just relying on the mind, and it's like going on this crazy spiral, snowball effect. You know, that is a never stopping. And also, I really like something that I learned doing Vipassana meditation, this 10-day retreat course of 10 hours per day meditation, which was, wow, intense. And at like the fourth day or something like that, they gave you the option of doing aditana, which means firm determination. So it's like you meditate 10 hours, but in 3 different times of the day for 1 hour each, you have to meditate without moving at all, without opening your eyes, without moving your hands, without moving your legs, just like remaining in the same position for 1 hour.
And is there someone there watching you?
No. It's all. I was myself. I was my own guardian. You know, just like watching me and being like, "Don't you fucking dare to to lose."
Yeah.
and I suffered so much. Like the second half hour, my knees were hurting so much. Like my head was, the knees. It hurts. It was going crazy. I cried of pain. I always had some knee problem, but that was intense. And then we had like a Q&A session with the teacher of the Vipassana, and I asked him, like, it was a one-to-one, right? What can I do? Because like this Aditana thing, it kills me. I cannot do it. My head, my brain shouts at me that it hurts so much. And he's like, yeah, that's the problem. Like you have pain, and the brain every time it shouts, it makes it double, and it's just like triple, quadruple, and it just goes exponentially worse because the mind is like multiplying the pain that you're feeling in the body. But if you just breathe to the body and like analyze the pain, he gave me this technique to like, okay, observe the pain and just dissect it to see if it's pulsating, if it's hot, if it's warm, if it's electric, if it's like intense, if it's in one area, if it's all around it, you know. And I did it to the next hour, and I could keep doing it for half an hour more. It was incredible, the change.
Yeah.
And I could just see there like, wow, the mind. Because they always say, oh, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional, or the other way around. Yeah, suffering is optional, and that they talk about the mind. That is like that's how you suffer.
It makes it bigger. It's like it doesn't allow you to escape it. It doesn't allow you to focus on something else.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was such like okay, I lived it, you know, and it still helps me if I'm in pain. I don't know if I'm having a wound healed. I can still meditate and just locate the wound and go there, and it's so much easier.
Yeah, and it reminds me also this relief of something that you do here a lot when you're accompanying is to encourage people to breathe towards the pain, right? And it's this relief that it comes with. If it's a sadness, is like to cry. And I found this to be so beautiful, like in my life, where rather than go to this, I would also try to figure it out in the mind, trying to like, oh, what can I do now? Something to take the sadness away.
Yeah.
But allowing this sadness to move through and move to the other side and see what's after it has been such a beautiful, life-giving experience for me. And yeah, it just reminds me, like you said, is how you guys accompany similarly, like the like your guide in the Vipassana was sharing there about just, it's not about maybe forcing something to change, but just putting a focus in a different area.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember myself also holding on to a pain or to sadness or anger, not expressing it completely because I wanted to understand it first. So it was like, okay, I'm not gonna. I don't know what's happening to me. I don't know, and I need to know. I had this belief. I need to know before I can share with someone.
Yeah.
So when I find out, it's already gone, and maybe I stayed with it for 3 days when I could have cried with the first people I encountered and be like relieved in half an hour.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it kind of reminds me of this roller coaster again.
Yeah.
It's like rather trying to stop the roller coaster all the time, but just go with it. It release to the grind, and you have this exciting experience. Whereas stopped on the roller coaster, you're stuck in the sadness. You're not allowing things to move and experiencing this full colored, like HD life. This. Do you meditate much? No.
Yes, I try to every morning after my exercise. Sometimes the kids wake up and they're too eager to play, so I don't. But definitely, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And I have this routine of I have like a 1 hour workout, and then I have like 3 phases of meditation. That is 3 steps. So the first one is Vipassana. It's just like concentrating on the breath, which I heard it also is great for training the mind to get away of a repetitive thought. It's like to have a distance, and it's the same. Or even if you're in a tough situation, there's like you're just bombarded with thoughts of this person is against me or whatever. If you train the mind to come back to the breathing, because if you meditate and just concentrate on the breathing, so many thoughts will come up. And you can go 15 minutes if you don't realize it soon, But you can be like, okay, I'm leaving the observation of my breath. I can come back. I can come back. I can come back. In this training, it's also helpful for these situations in life where you're like, okay, I'm going away with this thought of this person hates me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay, what's really happening?
Catch yourself, right?
Catch yourself, yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like I am actually creating a conflict because I interpret blah, blah, blah. So I love this, that I can see also, like practical use for that. I only did it also just because I really liked this peaceful moment for myself. And now I see this also a tool. Like,
you enjoy it too, right? You enjoy the space.
It's like a training as well, And the second part is, giving thanks. It's like we do the 5 and the 15 and the 5, which is this thing that we do all together. And I do it also by myself. So 15 minutes or less, 5 minutes. I just thank for whatever happened yesterday. I thank for the family, for the community, for whatever comes to the mind, and the brain kind of gets used to also finding new things to give thanks to.
And because interestingly, one question I have about this 5 minutes, do you feel like sometimes like your mind is fighting with you about like things you're not so grateful for?
Oh no, really. No, that comes in the third part.
I want to end on this.
Because also after giving thanks, I do this visualization exercise that we also do together once in a while, and visualize like the dreams that I want to accomplish. I visualize myself already doing them, accomplishing them. So I visualize myself giving my passport in the plane to go to Europe and visiting Nina's family and my family. And sometimes there is like, I don't know, visualize the podcast already like having a lot of views and a lot of episodes. and be like, oh, but I need to fix this before I can do that, and like there's all these intermediate things that need to happen before
these actions, right?
Yeah, these actions that are required to, but that's not the point, the point of the visual. But also maybe they do because I see the steps.
Yeah.
So it's actually not about just negative thoughts coming up, but it's more like, okay, actual steps that need to happen to achieve the dream. So actually, it's all
kind of like like you said for the Vipassana. It's really nice moment, but you also see this practical element.
Yeah.
So maybe like this also.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's like comes after just dreaming about something. Yeah. Wow.
No, I really enjoy this Kinze too, this visualization. But one of the aspects that I find for myself in there sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling or what's going on, this gratitude can be like, a different experience. Really reminding myself to stay in the Kinze, stay in the gratitude, stay and seeing stuff that pops in like intrusive thoughts about what I'm not so grateful for. What I'm annoyed about, what I don't like. It's also part of it's part of what comes and goes, and learn to be a lot more patient with myself.
And also I see them as steps to be grateful, in the sense that, okay, if this is on the way, then I can like do something about it. So it's not bothering me to really be completely thankful about something, like a relationship with a person. Okay, I'm really thankful, but I didn't like this part.
Yeah, true. Yeah, nice.
So it's like some obstacle that you can see that, okay, if I go through it, like I speak about it with the person or whatever, then I can be just like be able to really
That's really nice. It's another thing I find there, right? It's like this. It's really putting a spotlight on the things that are important in your life, right? If you sit and close your eyes, the things that are important come.
Yeah.
And if we take this risk to step into them and to say, I don't like it when you do that. It comes something, a movement. I think quite often how I also experienced this time in school and time in life before was a lot of, I need to close my mouth about this. I can't express if I don't like something. It must all be good, positive vibes.
Finished product or
exactly. And really actually seeing how important it is to be active and to engage with the people that are around us, and how much it makes for a more interesting experience too. Otherwise it's just all this, tiptoeing through life, being afraid of how I'll impact somebody if I say I don't like something, or maybe I'll be seen as too much. But actually how you can create the life that you want by addressing what you like, what you don't like, celebrating what you do, and cursing what you don't do.
Yeah.
I heard this I don't know if you've listened to Alan Watts before, but his metaphor about the dream reality.
How is it?
Yeah, that if we could have the skill to imagine or to dream our whole life in one night, that if every night we went to dream, and the first night we would dream all amazing stuff happening, all this stuff that's really, really cool, all this stuff that we want to happen, that's the most exciting, that's the best. And then we would dream this for a while.
Yeah.
This dream we really enjoyed for a while. But then after a while, this success would get super boring. And we'd add in like some difficulties, and we'd add in some challenges. And eventually, after enough time, we would end up dreaming the exact life that we're living right now.
Whoa.
And this was a really beautiful realization, and something that really helped me with approaching difficulty also, was to see that how interesting. Maybe I can put this perspective on how interesting it is to be in this challenge, or in this, and to look at this also as part of my roller coaster. That I asked for this somehow. I asked if I was to have my dream, I would end up here anyway.
Yeah.
And this has been a beautiful metaphor for helping me with difficulty.
Yeah, it's And if we see like in the wider aspect of okay, we are born, we live, and then we die. And so like, and they say this in several books, and like talking about immortality and how it would be awfully boring because like we enjoy life because we know it's not forever. So it's like the wider aspect of what you're saying is like, so we're gonna die.
Yeah.
And the beauty of each moment is that it's unique.
Yeah.
It cannot be repeated.
Yeah, yeah. It would be impossible to replicate.
Uh-huh.
Like the clouds in the sky. If we were to do this exact podcast and say the exact words, these clouds in the sky back here wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, or the birds chirping
Yeah.
through the whole podcast.
Yeah.
So differently.
And I love these moments of attention. You know, these moments of like, it's kind of like a dissection of like what's happening right now. And at one point I was really feeling like if I could look at each moment like it is right now, there wasn't this space for such negative thoughts, you know. These moments of gratitude, these moments of noticing something, you know, noticing the birds, noticing the way the clouds are in the sky.
Yeah.
There's not such space for negativity, really.
Yeah.
And not to give value, of course, like we said, you know, of addressing that negativity or addressing these things we would like to change or these things we would like to be different. But just also having seen how do I want to spend each moment, or what do I want to notice. And yeah, and noticing also in my life that I've really enjoyed people who, you know, we share something like that, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, this noticing it together.
Yeah.
You know, I think before if I said this maybe to my colleagues, or if I noticed this maybe with people I was in school with before, what are you talking about? You know, this is crazy. You know, it's crazy talk. But I really like this. I really found myself a lot of passion in this also.
Yeah, and I think about also parenthood, you know, and like being a parent and these situations where okay, the kids are either tired or there's something that they're annoyed at, but they don't know what it is, and it's like chaos for 15 minutes. And it can be so stressful if you're just completely immersed in that moment when they don't know what to do, but they're just like either crying or kicking stuff or, you know. But I heard this advice that it's like, okay, if you had the opportunity when you're old, you're 80 years old, to come back to this situation with your kids that are still kids, and no, they're not grown-ups that left the family and are living with their family somewhere else. So if you had the opportunity to go back and like interact with them, would you act the same or would it be different?
Yeah.
And that changed like my whole perspective and view, and like seeing exactly that I would miss so much these moments of the kids just needing a hug or needing for me to run to get their toys or whatever, you know. But these like intimate moments of that can feel stressful for 15 minutes, and then it's like peace again. They just laugh or sleep or whatever.
It's such a beautiful like when you say like how the kids move through it from like, oh, in 15 minutes they'll be happy again, you know. It's like how it contrasts to what we said a while ago about the sadness we hold, and it's like, no, I can't let go of it. And in seeing these kids, you go through it all the time and go from highs to lows and everything in between.
And actually we can either like make it last longer or make it last longer, because if I'm stressed, I'm gonna relate with them with this stress and with this irritability. So they're gonna we're gonna like stretch this moment. But if I can see that okay, they're right now they don't know what they need, so let's look together. And they're tired and their mama is not there at the moment, or I'm not there, or you know. So seeing what they need behind this chaos can make it so like last like that. and I because I was in both, right?
Mm.
I was tired and couldn't like have patience for them, and was lost in the moment, and that took longer because I was like, oh, what do you want? And they were just like needing something different, more softness or whatever.
Yeah, and it comes to me actually, this can be a moment of anger, that also, maybe it brings an anger out or something that, yes, that maybe it's remembered in another way by this kid, it's like, oh, I was showing what I wanted, and, Dad was angry about it. And it's really interesting, like how many, there's so many like deathbeds or questions about like, oh, when you're older, you're 80, or and you're on your deathbed, what would you think of this situation? And it's so nice that one that comes to me quite a lot is, what would you regret?
Yeah.
And when you hear people talking about what they regret, it's like not spending time with family, and in this moment, it's like this is you spending the time with your family, and or they might regret that they work so much, or regret that
the first regret from a study, a big study, they say from I don't know how many thousands of patients that they're not dying natural death, but they have terminal illness, is that they were not themselves.
Yeah. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah. But yeah, I heard it, and also it comes from Gabor Mate's book that I'm talking about a lot. Is going giving more importance to what other people want than to their own needs. Let's say that would be something like that.
Yeah, like this kind of reference outside. Right?
Yeah,
this reference outside for what should I do, make me happy. What would other people like me for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what Gabor Mate book are you?
Maybe The Myth of Normal.
Oh yes, yeah. I haven't heard it.
But I just heard him in several interviews talking about this, and like relating it with authenticity, right? And this that we all, as also the podcast is called, like authentic journeys. It's like there is not an objective in the authenticity that you can say, okay, now I'm authentic. I arrived. It sounds almost like I am enlightened. I arrived, But I see them both as journeys, as like the everyday decisions that take us closer to this ideal. Say. I don't know how do you.
Ideal as well is like, it's a difficult one, because I can see different phases of my life, like being in this this idea that what other people think is good for me is good for me. What other people expect of me, I should expect of myself, and having this outside reference, and then being not able to kind of keep up with this expectation, and seeing then that actually what's more important for me is what I want for me, and seeing the difficulty of this journey between both of those, and sometimes feeling like, oh, now I'm in it again, I'm in this old pattern of doing what other people want, and this ideal feels like a very heaviness also. It feels like I don't know what that is even, like to find, maybe it's my result focused, like what is the ideal. But I feel like really this asking these questions about how I want to live, what is life to me, they bring such really nice answers when we really check with ourselves. Well, this is how I experience it for me anyway, when I this real slowing down, about, and being able to kind of take it in. Sometimes, well, of course, we need to move fast and rush and do things a bit faster, but really slowing down and taking stock. And I read a really nice one yesterday that, the way we brush our teeth is the way that we live our life. So if we brush our teeth like, oh, I need to get this brushing my teeth done fast to move to the next thing, that if we can take stock and slow down in these moments, that we're not so much rushing to the next thing.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of a time I was at a Tame Impala concert in Canada, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And Tame Impala at the time, my favorite band, loved the music, loved, like, the scene was perfect. I was there with one of my best friends, and we just had this really perfect moment. And my favorite song was playing, and I had this thought about, where are we going next? What party are we going to go to afterwards? And I remember being, at the time, really hard on myself that I'm here at the best possible thing for me, and I'm thinking about what's next. And this was it brought a lot of sadness for me. It was like, whoa, I can see this so much in my life, where I'm rushing from even my favorite thing, but rushing to the next thing, rushing to be finished so I can go to the next thing, and then I'm rushing that, rush to the next thing. So it resonates a lot for me to slow down and brush my teeth slowly.
Yeah. What does it mean if you forget to brush your teeth some days?
Oh.
Oops. Okay. Yeah, too much information, I think.
Yeah. Did you forget today?
No, I did it today for the podcast. And it hurt, actually. Yeah. I think I have something there.
Yeah, I actually got my 4 wisdom teeth out a couple of weeks ago now.
Whoa.
And it made a huge difference to how I feel about myself.
Oh, yeah?
It was just, I feel like this moment of something I had neglected for a long time.
Yeah.
And having these, like, cavities in my mouth that, they're always just a bit niggly. A bit niggly, and sometimes it's a bit sensitive when I eat something. But I got the 4 out in one day, like a really tough. It was a tough few days, but I can say I really feel like much more comfortable, like much more, like I've felt a lot happier since. Wow. So whether something
less mind.
Yeah, it's like what am I storing in there?
Yeah.
But it's been really nice. Also, I one of the worst pains that I have had is this toothache. Right? You have a toothache and you're trying to sleep.
Yeah.
And this is horrible. So it was like maybe taking care of these things.
Yeah, for sure. It's in the agenda. Let's see. I have some questions I would like to ask. So the first question I like to ask is, if you could go back to your childhood and meet your younger self and your parents, what would you tell them?
My younger self and my parents.
Yeah. Your parents. What would you tell your parents first?
My parents first. I think it would be this. Immediately, what comes to me, I think it would be this, like, slow down. Just slow down and let's take it in a little bit. I feel a lot of my childhood, while very enjoyable, but was really like rushing from this sporting event to the next one, and I have this kind of exhausting idea of being young, in a sense that we're going from this swimming to playing football to riding horses to all of these, like, really really cool things to do also. But it was really rushing from one thing to the other,
Yeah.
Again, like rushing from this because we have to go to the next. And it's also something when I go into my inner world and I do what I really want to do with my parents. It's never any of these things,
Right.
It's always like, let's sit in the field and just sit down. Let's light a fire and just sit around the fire. It's much slower. So that's maybe something I would say to my parents.
What would you say to your younger self?
Brush my teeth.
How?
Yeah, my younger self. I don't really know. Whoa. This one catches me a bit.
Yeah, If you just
I think to play, you know, to
uh-huh.
play a bit more.
Mm.
I think when I was small, I was actually, for some reason, things were very serious already.
Mm.
You know, I sometimes find that in myself now. I am like this difficulty to play,
Mm.
but I think it would be to play. It would be like, you know, to have fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And next question. In one word, how would you describe the community in Juego?
Is there a time? There's a lot of words.
Okay, a few words.
I think I would say. I think I would say transformation
Mm.
for lots and lots of different reasons. I would say transformation. Like for me, it's been a huge transformation to engage with life how how it is here.
Mm.
To really look at life the way you guys look at it in this aspect of playing. And again, now it's like tied.
Exactly.
It's like this playing, you know. That
Mm.
it's like the seriousness that gets replaced with this like exploration, like a kid.
Mm.
And this has transformed a lot for me from how I was living my life before to how I do it now. To to enjoy the challenges a lot more,
Mm.
not rushing away from them. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
transformation for sure.
Okay. Yeah, and the last question would be, what have you learned in your time here at the Juego? Well, you kind of said already, right?
Um, yeah, it's this playing.
Yeah.
It's this engaging with life maybe on my own terms as well that I decide. You know, each moment
Mm.
that how I like it. That's up to transform, or that can change at any time as well. Um, that's something that yeah, to live life as I want.
Mm.
Um, and maybe just to notice the expectations from others. Yeah, notice them,
Notice what, sorry?
the expectations from
Uh-huh.
others, yeah, rather than to like live
Act.
live by them.
Yeah.
To notice them and
Mm.
to address, and also attention to detail is something that I've been really exploring a lot recently.
Mm.
How important this attention to detail is, and it's very subtle but
Mm-hmm.
really beautiful too.
Yeah. Yeah. You look quite nice haircut.
Yeah, this is my new haircut.
It's nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming to the podcast.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor, really, to sit here with you and to be considered also to speak with you. Really,
Yeah, for sure.
your friendship means a very great deal to me,
Yeah.
and it's something that when I think of here, you're one of the first people that comes to my mind. I know I'm leaving soon, but I'm really looking forward to coming back. And it's so beautiful returning this time to see like your kids bigger,
Yeah.
to see you in your house. The things we talked about before
Uh-huh.
coming to life, coming to reality, and also to see this passion grew in
Mm.
the podcast. It's been really beautiful to experience.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And yeah, I was also surprised because we every time we talk, it's like complete just buffoonery, you know. And now we're so serious. I don't know if the mics or the topic
Yeah.
or what, but also it's nice to find different waves. Different
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, maybe.
depth.
Yeah, like this is how I feel it too. Is this not fixed?
Yeah.
Like it comes as it comes, and then you're like,
Mhm.
okay, that's enough of that. And I really enjoy that freedom too. I feel.
Uh-huh.